Hello, everyone. I'm Al Neely with ListenUp Podcast, and today we have a local comedian, Steve Wills. Steve is also, when he's not on stage, he's a insurance broker. Is that correct?
Sir. That is correct.
All right. So I met Steve about 3 months ago, and he was doing a stand-up show at Chicho's, and immediately, I love comedy, so immediately I was drawn to you. So I started following you, and then I realized your posts are even funnier than your stand-up sometimes. So tell us, Steve, where are you from?
So I grew up in Mississippi originally. I was born in Savannah, Georgia, where my parents met. Grew up in Mississippi, and then came out here with the Navy in 2001 and just never left. So
okay, you how long did you live in Savannah?
Just for about a year. My parents are back there now. They've since moved back home. But
okay, yeah, I love Savannah.
Savannah's great. I love going back to visit whenever I can.
Yeah. So, what made you decide to get into comedy?
It was kind of on a bucket list thing for a long time, something I thought, I'd be good at it because, at parties, people are laughing at my stories and things like that. So I tried it, and then I realized how therapeutic it was. It kind of gave me the ability to make fun of things about my own life that I did or didn't like, and kind of turned into that, and a good skin thickening exercise as well. Gotcha.
So you do make a lot of fun, you make a lot of jokes about your relationships and your family. So I know that, and they're hilarious. You also on your Facebook post, is it okay to give out your okay? I don't know what your IG is, but
IG is Steve Wills is funny.
Okay, on your IG.
Yeah.
And he is verified on his Facebook at Steve Wills. Yeah, so you've appeared at Funny Bones.
Okay.
Right? Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
That was fun. I did Clash of the Comics for the first time this last one, and they had pretty much a packed house, so it was a real good time with a bunch of good people. The lineup was pretty stacked that night, so it was nice. And then around Christmas time last year, I got to do the roast battle, and that was probably the most fun I've had so far.
Where was that held?
That was at the Funny Bone also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to when they have the next one, so we can do that again. But I think roasting is some of my most favorite types of comedy.
Yeah, who do you follow as far as your comedic?
I love Dave Chappelle because he's the best, but I don't think I'm really anything like him. As far as people that I'm close to, Anthony Jeselnik is somebody that I've always kind of admired his joke writing.
Right.
I love Daniel Tosh.
Okay.
Shane Gillis is great right now.
Oh, Shane is he's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and good thing, one of the best things about Shane is he's an Eagles fan. So
that's right.
That's right.
Saints fan, so we don't have any beef, so we're good.
We just got an Eagles coach now, so
yeah.
So hopefully that works out for you guys. So you have any events coming up?
Nothing currently on the books at the moment, unfortunately. So looking to change that though.
Okay. Well, hopefully we can help you out with that. So, but one of the things I've noticed is that I started following you. Started following you on Facebook, and you don't have a problem talking about things that are going on in our culture. So
yeah.
How did that? Is it just something you just feel like people need to laugh at or you draw attention to, but you have no issue drawing attention to the things that are going on, and I love that about you.
And I try to, if I'm going to make something that has a political lean, I try to save it for something that I feel fairly passionate about. Like I don't want to overdo it, but I feel like people should have an opinion, It's kind of like when I was in real estate, even being in insurance, sometimes it's like you don't want to offend either side of the coin. But at some point, and then on some issues, I feel like if I lose business because of this, then I'm okay with that. And I think on the reverse side of that, which was unintentional, is that the people that like you that much more because they know you're being exactly who you are and you're not trying to be somebody just to earn their business. So
yeah, I get that. Yeah, I get that. you're in the public light. So those are the things that you need to be concerned about. Definitely.
Oh, for sure.
So I want to talk about one thing that you posted. Okay. Right now, South Park, they're really going hard.
Oh, it's great.
So you think it's great?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to roll. Let me see if I can get this to come up real quick. So I want to talk about.
I'm calling about the grocery allowance.
I want to see if we can get this to come up here real quick. Let's talk about this one. All right, so I want to read this off your page, if that's okay. Sure. It says, all right, Steve, August 8th. You can find it on his Facebook page. First off, if you haven't been watching South Park lately, you've really been missing out. Second, did she just say only liberals, extremists make fun of women for how they look? I can't believe she said that with a straight face. Actually, I totally can believe it because her face doesn't move. Okay. All right. Does she need an itemized list of all the insults her boss has hurled at women while president? Get over it, dog killer. Come on, Steve. What inspired you to post that?
I saw her response to that episode when she had the nerve to say that only liberals, and first of all, I don't consider myself in anything, but that only liberals and extremists insult women based on their looks is just, it's laughable because, I mean, if anybody has YouTube, they can find 1,000 examples to the contrary of that. So, it's kind of like at this point, I respect South Park for using their voice in a way that is funny and still also bringing attention to things, in a way that maybe nobody else could do. So It's like kind of me supporting that and trying to keep that top of mind so that these idiots can't escape behind their Fox News interviews.
Yes. I think it's important. One, I think it's important because I don't think people realize what comedians do in society. One, they talk about issues, things that people are really sensitive about, okay? And it's an art form. You can bring consciousness to it, right? And people just need to laugh, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, there's studies that show people that laugh or smile, they live longer, they're happier, their lives are. So I understand that. It's just you're going to take a little bit of heat on that one, but So.
I mean, I think in that situation, for that, I'll take the heat. That's why I say I try to pick, things. The ICE stuff, grabbing people off the street with these masked people. It should outrage everybody. So there shouldn't be any heat. But I don't. Yeah. I'm not worried about it.
Do you get prejudged?
Oh, for sure. Okay. I always do a joke that says, I didn't vote for Trump. This is just how my face looks. Because people just instantly assume that I'm probably a conservative Republican. So in some ways that's fun because I can use that to make jokes about.
And you're from Mississippi.
And I'm from Mississippi, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you tell everybody that.
Well, no, and I was a card-carrying Republican up until I voted for Trump in the first election. I thought he might be the shakeup that we needed and that everything was just a reality TV show personality. And then I saw what happened and I was like, it was a terrible idea. I can't support that anymore. Now I still don't consider myself a Democrat. Now I just call myself a Steve. I pick each issue on the merits of that issue and, not based off of pressure from one side or the other.
Yeah, it causes too much tribalism.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to look at everybody, right? And you got to look at each and every person's needs. So tell us about what you want to do with comedy. How do you see yourself growing?
I started as a hobby. I would love to see it go somewhere. I like doing the kind of comedy I like to do, and it doesn't always work because some of my stuff tends to be a good bit more edgy. But it's what I'm having the most fun doing. I feel like for me, a career in comedy would be me getting to do exactly what I want all day long. So for me to do that, I kind of have to keep doing exactly what I want now and then hope that it'll work to that. But I would love to see it go on from that. I've always thought writing would be really fun. I enjoy writing jokes probably more than I enjoy getting up there and telling them. So finding ways to use that would be exciting too.
Yeah. Well, you have talent. I think you'll get there. Definitely. You'll definitely have a type where the Hampton Roads following you. You were talking about how you had to choose what you needed to talk about as far as, how you had to choose about the people and their concerns. And I feel the same way, excuse me, when you're looking at people in each one of their situations. So how much of that do you put into your jokes? How does that help your comedy?
Do you mean like from a compassionate angle, or?
Yeah, it's everyday.
I try I try not to be compassionate because I try to find things that I think are funny and realize that somebody is going to probably be offended a little bit by it, and I'm okay with that. As long as I try to feel like, am I coming from a decent place where I'm a decent person who sometimes makes jokes that are inappropriate. So I guess I would say I try to as little as possible.
Yeah, I got you.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. The when it comes to being a little bit edgy,
mm-hmm.
do you feel as though you are geez. We got Morgan. All right, we're gonna have to cut it from here and then go back because I've just lost my train of thought. But anyway, this doesn't happen, so we're gonna have to get him straight now. So, when you are when you're coming up with your routine,
mm-hmm.
do you feel as though that edge that you're bringing to it sets you apart? Because the people that you're looking at, Chappelle,
mm-hmm.
He's very edgy, when he's talking about
mm-hmm.
a lot of the issues that go on, and people tend to like that. So it either polarizes you, or it kind of brings.
I feel like at this point it is more of a hindrance than a help, because like Anthony Jeselnik is one of my favorite stand-up comedians, and he is very dark.
You think it's a hindrance?
I think right now it is a little bit, because everybody is looking for somebody who can kind of nicely fit in with what is going on. That they don't want somebody that's going to be, as offensive, sometimes. So I feel like an Anthony Jeselnik, at that point in your career, everybody who comes to your show is a huge fan of the exact kind of comedy that you do, and they're not coming there unless they want to hear that dark, edgy stuff. So I think it would probably be to my benefit if I could manage to fit in some more clean jokes, But I just don't like writing.
You don't?
No.
Okay.
So for me, it's got to. As soon as it becomes not fun, then I might as well not do it. So
yeah.
Every now and then a clean joke slips in there on accident. So
yeah. The I don't know. Comedy is one of those things where you're in a situation where, like I said, you're either polarizing people or you're bringing them together. But like right now, I've been watching a lot of Josh. It's Josh Johnson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he kind of reminds me of Chappelle a little bit. They're very intellectual,
mm-hmm.
and they can create this whole story, and then at the end, I guess you can give them the punchline in the beginning, and at
mm-hmm.
the end,
you
go, oh,
yeah,
that's all about it. So I think comedy is a bit of storytelling.
Oh, for sure.
Really.
Yeah. And Chappelle's the master.
Yeah.
I think, too, as you develop as a comedian, like now I'm still relatively new, so like 10 to 15 minutes is probably the most I'm going to do in one setting anywhere, which is completely different from doing 30 to 45 minutes. When you're doing that, it requires holding the audience's attention a lot more, plus developing like longer thought out stories and things like that. So it's definitely the direction.
How long you been writing?
I'm right at 2 years now. So
Okay.
we're coming up on 2, and there'll be 2 in November, so almost at 2.
Does it take a lot to get up there and to tell jokes?
The first few times.
It was. I was talking to Kels, you know Kels,
Yeah.
right? And she was like, oh yeah, she says, I'm terrified when I get up there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I had no idea, because when I went into the restaurant, we were talking, and I'm just like, man, she's cool. I'm like, she's going to get up there and do that. And she's like, no, when she came in and did the podcast, she was like, oh no, she says, I'm terrified when I get up there.
I still get nervous, but once you've bombed at a few open mics and had like a room full of people just stare at you after you say something, you learn that that's the worst that's going to happen to you, and that you're going to be fine, as soon as you get off stage. But it's definitely still nerves.
Yeah. You, what was the first, can you talk about the first time that happened, how it made you feel?
Oh, yeah. That was the second time I ever did comedy. So the first time I'd been saying I wanted to do it for a while, and then finally the girl I was dating at the time was like doing it, and so I found this open mic. It's in the back of a bowling alley in Virginia Beach, and it's like a really small room, and I went in there and just I don't know, shit the bed for like 8 minutes, but I brought 3 people with me, and at that one they have where they vote on the best. Well, I didn't realize if you bring 3 people with you, you're going to win at that thing. So I won my very first night doing comedy, and I'm thinking like, I'm great and I'm so good. And then I went back and sucked every week for like 6 or 7 weeks before I got.
You didn't bring anybody with you?
I brought like my girlfriend with me, but at that point I realized I wasn't all that good. And I don't think anybody is ever good right when they start. It's pretty much you got to suck for a little bit. And
I think that's with anything, right?
Yeah.
And then when you get good, they don't quite realize what everything that you've had to go through or endure to get to that point. Yeah, but it's just a bunch of practice.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah. Have you done any improv before?
No, that's been and this is Chappelle inspired. I saw a Chappelle interview where he said he took an improv class, and it did wonders for his stand-up career. So
really?
That's been my thing that my ADHD self needs to actually sign up and do an improv class. So.
Yeah, we have studio. A really good one is the one in Norfolk.
Is that Push?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of good teachers there.
Okay.
I've taken a couple classes with them. So
okay.
Deep down inside, I want to be a comedian.
Have you gotten up on the mic yet?
No, I've just done improv.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was actually surprised because I went right out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't care. But I'm at that point in my life, like, I don't really care if I make a mistake.
Yeah.
So I think you kind of have to be like that, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mistakes are just improvements in the making.
Yeah. Okay. So what can we do we're going to support you.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to support you. We're going to try to get everybody to get on your social media posts. You're on IG. Are you on TikTok?
Yep. Steve Wills is funny.
Steve Wills is funny. Okay. And you're definitely on Facebook. People have got to find you there and follow you there because you're posting stuff routinely on there. So what can we do to help you here?
Following is the best one. I'll keep it updated when I do get some shows coming up, and love for people to come out, share the post, comment.
Yeah, you got to let us know where it's going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, that Tappahannock show came up at the last minute, but next time I get something lined up, I will.
Talk about that. What was that like?
So there's not much in Tappahannock.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking you. Yeah.
The pizza is called Bella's Pizza, and they have a show out there. Billy Williamson, a good friend of mine, sets that up, and he asked me to fill in. So it was a nice 2-hour drive up there with one of the other guys local that was going up there, Mark Leva. Had some great pizza and good time with the locals there. So there's nothing there though except for them.
It was you probably had
felt like Mississippi vibes for a minute. It took me back.
Yeah, it was probably packed. They probably came out because it's not
There's not much to do. So
yeah, so it's not that they knew you that they came out, right? We got to get you to the headliner where they're coming out because they know Steve. But yeah, it's not a lot to do out there, but it's interesting. Yeah, let me. So if I took a look at you, I would definitely say, okay, you are. I I wouldn't say you're from Mississippi because of course I couldn't tell that, but you know, just your first appearance with the, the long beard. Do you get stereotyped?
For sure.
You do?
Yeah, people tend to always just assume that I'm conservative Republican right out. I mean, and I was one for years, so I just don't fit the part.
What changed?
Just kind of real compassion, understanding. So I grew up, in a very loving household where we said everybody was equal and we loved everybody, but I didn't know anybody that didn't look and act and believe exactly what I believed. Everybody I knew was also in the same church that I was in. They looked like me. It wasn't really until I joined the Navy and, now I was exposed to people who didn't have my same belief system. And I think it came from, give an example, as a conservative Christian growing up, I always believed that we love gay people, but that gay marriage was a sin. Until I actually got to know some gay people and realized how awful it would be if somebody told me that I could no longer like women and I was forced to So that perspective of understanding other people has brought me more to the middle.
Once you got a chance to talk with them, because I know in church I grew up in church, but one of the things that you're taught is that you have to change your ways as a perversion. And if you don't change your ways, the way you have to change them is you have to ask God to change those for you, Jesus, right? So when you got a chance to talk with them and have a conversation with them, did you realize that it might be something deeper? Because one of the things that I've noticed is they're different. Yeah.
No,
it's not just a perversion.
No, I don't think it is at all. I think it is just who they are. And I think honestly, if Christians were being honest with themselves, they've gotten that one completely. I'm not a Christian at this point. I'm not practicing, but I think that they got the interpretation wrong on what the Bible might have been trying to say about that. I don't think that God is nearly as concerned about who somebody is sleeping with as sometimes the church pretends like he is.
That's a big thing right now.
Yeah.
It's like, a man should marry a woman kind of thing.
And that's all based on a rule book somebody set up a few thousand years ago. And
you really feel like that?
Yeah, I feel like the reason that we are where we have the typical male roles and female roles is probably evolutionary. After thousands of years of men being in this role and women being in this role, evolutionary men, the more successful men are going to be the ones who are better at this role and that role. It doesn't necessarily mean I don't think that everybody should be defined to those roles. It doesn't mean that's the way it's supposed to be. It's just the way that it is.
Yeah.
So
Mississippi, was it a big culture difference when you came here?
Yeah.
Really? Because to me, this is the South, and it's just still a little slow.
No, yeah, nothing.
But it was big. What was the things that you noticed when you first came?
Most of it was everybody kind of living amongst each other. Like in Mississippi, we had black people and white people, but we really never talked to each other all that often. It was hi, how you doing? But the kind of everybody just hanging out, all that was a big shock for me. Having the ocean was great because Mississippi's on the coast, but I was in the middle of the state, so I saw the beach, every other year or something like that. So having it there all the time, but that was also when I moved out of my parents' house, so I was finally having some solid freedom for a little bit there.
Yeah.
So
you have a family?
Well, I'm divorced, but I have 4 kids, ages 15, 16, 18, and 20.
Okay. What do they think about you doing stand-up?
Oh, they love it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the older 2 will come when age permits, but the younger 2.
So when you get that big bag, they're going to really love you.
Exactly. Every now and then, the younger one will get annoyed because some of his friends have found my Instagram, and so they'll bug him at school about jokes I told or things like that.
Oh, really?
But at the end of the day, he's not that worried about it.
When you mean bugging, they're saying your dad is funny?
That, or they're just bugging him in general about it.
Or he tells dad jokes.
Dad is funny.
Yeah, he tells dad jokes. Okay, yeah. Let's talk about some of your views and some of the things, because on your posts, you talk about a lot of things that are going on. I'm assuming you get a lot of your your material from your life and comedy. How important do you think that, especially right now? Because I got to tell you, people are angry all the time.
Should be.
They should be? Why?
I mean, just with what's going on, I feel like the way our intelligence is being insulted on kind of a daily basis, pretending that any of this is normal, kind of all the things that are going on in our country at the moment. The Epstein thing more than anything. Like if we can't
you post a lot about that.
Well, because here's my thing. I know, so like having been somebody who grew up very conservative Christian who now is not, like I grew up protesting at abortion clinics, as a child because I thought I was saving human baby lives. Now I look at it from a slightly different lens, but when you meet people who are pro-choice, they look at people who are against abortion like, oh, they're trying to take away their rights. I'm like, no, they really think that they're saving the lives of human babies. They're not just over there trying to be mean. So I realize that there's good people on both sides. So like people who might be voted for Trump, I realize there's good people who voted for him. I don't understand necessarily why they made that decision, but I know that their character and that they're good people. So it scares me when some of those people are not uniting in the outrage that we should have over not having the Epstein stuff released and seeing those people held accountable, and then the argument is constantly, well, why didn't Biden release them? And the answer is, I don't know. Let's release them and find out why, and if we can't all unite on a hate for pedophiles, then we're doomed as a country and we should just give up and go home.
You actually say that in one of your Facebook posts. Yeah. So why do you think they have not been released? But I think you also said something about there's being a constant distraction. I think is something about going into D.C. with. You think those things
I think
are
those
distractions?
to get us to quit asking about Epstein. I mean, I think he might do those kind of stupid things even if the Epstein stuff wasn't going on.
Right.
But I think at this point, whether they mean it as a distraction, it all is a distraction. I think, if we're going to pick a hill to die on, holding pedophiles accountable for their crimes is the one that I will gladly stake, that we're not going to move on. Because what happens is every time something outrageous happens, a few more outrageous things happen, and we move on from that one, which is how we got to this point without those files being released. So, I think it's time for us to dig in and say we're not moving past until this is all brought to light and everybody affiliated is held accountable.
Do you think it's going to happen?
No, I think eventually everybody's going to move on, but that's sad, because am I willing to go charge a federal building to go and get those files? No, I'm not willing to do that, but it's kind of sad because, there were hundreds, if not thousands of children that were horribly abused,
Right.
and nobody's doing anything to hold their people. Sometimes I worry if it's like when they had the bank bailout because they said, oh, we have to bail them out because it's too big to fail. I wonder if the names on that list are so big that it would crash everything if all of them were held accountable.
I never thought about it like that, right? Yeah.
And again, that's terrible. But if we don't have accountability for pedophiles, then what do we really have here that is worth protecting and fighting for? Like, all the other stuff pales in comparison.
Yeah, we haven't had really accountability for anything right. It doesn't seem like it right now. So, setting a bad example, I feel like we are. Yeah. The one of the things that I was interested in is, I know as a dad, I don't know what your focus is as far as pedophiles, but I've learned a lot about how sex trafficking and things are taking place. You have daughters, right?
3 daughters, 1 son.
So are you looking at it from that standpoint of?
Absolutely. I mean, it makes it more serious, but pedophiles should discuss everybody equally, just on principle. Now, it does, I will say, having daughters in particular has changed a lot of how I view
the world,
women being treated. Like when my kid's getting dress coded in middle school, I get it. There's a rule, it was broken, but when you're telling her it's so we don't make the boys look, or we don't tell the boys to shut their damn eyes and figure it out. That's not the reason to make her feel like it's her fault for the attention she was getting. But none of that made sense to me until I was the father with the daughter. So like those kind of things, like what is consent and women being treated fairly and not being felt like they are in, like all the stuff that came out with the whole Me Too and Weinstein movement. Like,
Yeah.
that's a real thing.
Yeah. So you think he's on the Epstein?
It doesn't even matter. He's locked up and not hurting anybody else.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Okay. Is there any thoughts you want to leave us with?
Every house is in a flood zone.
Okay. Steve Wills agency, insurance agency?
Goosehead Insurance, the wave agency.
Goosehead.
We shop, you save, jump on the wave.
Okay. How'd you come up with Goosehead?
That was actually the name of the franchise when I bought it. So
Okay.
Yep, that came along.
All
the
right.
wave agency was mine, and that's pretty obvious.
Okay. So you get some home insurance, you get a little stand up, and you get some savings.
There we go.
It's okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you for following us on Listen Up. We'll catch you next time on Listen Up. Thanks. If you enjoyed today's episode, I'm going to ask you to click on the links below, follow, subscribe, become part of the conversation. And remember, listen up.